Okay, guys, time for another video game video, I guess, with my expert video game opinion, I guess. Just because I've been seeing all this shit about this like hitbox stuff or whatever, you know what I mean, whenever I randomly check video games if it should be allowed or not. I want to talk about that subject and kind of about like our tournaments becoming almost like tool-assisted tournaments or something like that, or like the Jimmy virus spreading through video games. That kind of shit. So basically, the too long didn't read or didn't watch thing is I think if you're using any tool or any kind of controller that is letting you theoretically do something that is humanly impossible or legitimately giving you an advantage over someone that the game was not originally designed for, then that's like a case closed. That's like not fair, dude. Like that's like cheating, right? I mean, if you're using like something that the game was not designed to do, then that's cheating. I'm sure there's going to be someone that said like, oh, well, glitches weren't intended, whatever. But roll with me here, dude, right? So in general, I think hitboxes, or whatever controllers, you know what I mean? It's just like, dude, if you can like charge a little bit faster, if you can block a little bit faster, and you have these like two motions at once, whatever, dude. Well, can you do that on another controller? And I know some people are like, oh, well, you could do it with analog sticks and this thing too. And it's like, okay, well, that's fucking cheating too if you're doing that, dude. Okay, so what are you talking? Are we comparing cheating to cheating? I agree. That's fucked up, dude. Um, you know what I mean? And I'm a big believer in that. Even button mapping I think is bullshit, to me personally. I remember when people were going off about button mapping when I was a kid into video games, you know what I mean? I mean, God, games are like what? You have some games that are only like fucking three buttons and you guys still need to have like button mapping for every single fucking thing, dude. I think that's fucking stupid. You know what I mean? I mean, that's giving you an advantage. Like, execution is a part of video games, and I've talked about this and other things. I don't understand why people don't get this. Like, games have already been made so easy throughout the years, taking out all the execution because Jimmy down the street needs to be able to do the hardest combo in the game. Everyone needs to feel like they can throw the Hail Mary pass, right? We got to let fucking button mapping, you know what I mean? Because people can't press multi. I mean, people are button mapping, I'm sure, even with arcade sticks, right? I mean, again, I'm not saying you should, right? Because I'm against it in general. But you got pads, so say like, oh, maybe it's awkward to hit multiple buttons. They got people with arcade sticks, but the whole thing is just fucking nonsense to me, right? Because again, execution is a part of games. Okay, I know it hurts because a fighting game is inevitably a competitive endeavor, right? And that's the difference between a fighting game and other games, right? Because you want to be better than another person, right? It's not like a speed running thing or something, or like a whatever RPG action game where you're just versing yourself, right? People want to look for any kind of advantage, right? Whatever. They want to feel like they're just as good as their friend down the street, whatever, dude, right? So anyway, you're already letting button mapping in. Motions are already so forgiving, it's ridiculous in the first place. And now you want to let people press two different things. Like people are trying to justify it, right? And I can understand the idea that people are trying to say, like, oh, well, arcade sticks, they end up hurting people's hands, hitbox or something, it's easier on people's fingers, whatever. Dude, I fucking get it, dude. I used to play on arcade stick, dude. As my health got worse, I've had more and more trouble using my hands, and I had to learn to play on pads. So I understand that things fucking hurt, dude. But that's life, man, right? I mean, yeah, or am I trying to say like, oh, I have to be the fucking special snowflake. You gotta let me do this. Like, just make this just for me. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, if it hurts, it's like, dude, at some point it's gotta be like, well, dude, maybe it's just not your fucking thing, dude, right? I mean, I'm sure people didn't, well, I don't know, maybe they did, right? What do I fucking know, right? I'm sure people that didn't make a hitbox with the intent of like cheating and things, but if you're doing things that are making it, Street Fighter, whatever it was made to be played on arcades, like where this was made to play this, if you're now using the thing that lets you do something that you theoretically can't do on the thing that it was normally programmed, and now it's like humanly impossible to do on that other thing, whatever, then yeah, of course that's fucking cheating. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, and I'm not saying that I'm sure playing on hitbox takes skill. I probably couldn't do it, but here's a really bullshit like thought about this, right? Imagine you're like in a fight with someone, right? And the rules supposedly are just, you're fighting each other, right, dude? You're on like karate skills, or whatever fuck you're doing, right? But some dude brings a gun, right? Now maybe he's never used the gun before, right? Maybe he doesn't even know how to pull the trigger, right? So there's a skill to using the gun. But technically, once the dude uses the gun in the fight, well, I don't fucking care if you're what karate move you're doing on me, dude. If I have a gun, I'm just gonna fucking shoot you. Right? Weird argument, right? So I'm just saying, like, I'm sure if you just gave some kid a gun, he probably wouldn't know what to fucking pull. He actually might accidentally kill himself, so don't do that. But he probably, do I pull the trigger here? Do I put the bullet here? Whatever the fuck they're doing, right? So again, I'm sure playing on hitbox, whatever, you probably gotta practice your carpal tunnel skills, whatever. But at the end of the day, cheating is cheating, right? What are you gonna do? So I think it's stupid. You guys already you allow button mapping nowadays. Motions are so fucking easy. Two button DPs. It's like, dude, when will enough be enough? When will you accept, like, when can we actually like just play the game, dude? Like you want, like, eventually it's like, do you want to have like a robot play the game for you, dude? Right? I mean, think about this, like, and I take almost like so like are tournaments becoming like tool assisted tournaments? Do you get what I mean? Because like, of course, I remember back in the day, after I had quit tournaments, whatever, you know what I mean? While I was still winning, to all my haters that try to say that wasn't happening, but and then I just made combo videos, and you know what? And I remember back in the day, a lot of people were trying to say that because tool assisted was a thing for combo videos, like people were making tool assisted videos, and people were trying to say that, oh, I must be cheating to make my videos too because you couldn't humanly do this or some bullshit, right? So I mean, I understand, like, tool assisted combo videos people are trying to like accuse people of now. Now we're having tournaments where is a hitbox is the fact that you're not button mapping every button. You're button mapping every single button on your controller. You're able to block faster and charge more than normally possible. Are we not getting into the age where people are fucking playing tool assisted tournaments? Are you even what kind? Do you get what I'm saying? It's like a fucking tool assisted just playing versus someone now. It's already bad enough you have people that are, like I said, I don't even really like tool assisted combo videos. I think you got to do some, considering what I've done in games, and I don't even actually consider myself to have that great of execution. You gotta do something real fucking impressive to impress me with a tool assisted combo video, because you're already giving yourself a fucking minus, dude. It's like, dude, you better do something real fucking slick here, dude. You know what I mean? But so again, like, are video games Street Fighter basically like tool assisted playing now? Like, I mean, you're taking almost everything out of it. You're taking every advantage you can because you don't really want to play the game. It feels like you don't want to, like. Do you really? And again, this is the weird thing about fighting games, because I understand that fighting games, unlike other games, fighting games are competitive. Okay, so I understand that aspect, but at some point, it's like, do you like playing the game, or do you just like beating people, right? And I guess there's a very thin line because it is a fighting game, right? So of course someone has to win, right? But how about this? Think about it like this. Would you want to use all these advantages just if you were just playing by yourself versus the computer? Maybe you would, right? Maybe, I don't know, dude, but I mean, that's a perspective, I think, right? It's like, oh man, I'm playing against the computer. I better make sure I can charge so the computer can't. It is. I better make sure I have every advantage I can do against the computer. It's almost like it's like so nerdy to me. Almost, it's almost like if we're getting to the point that people don't even actually really want to play the games themselves, isn't it almost like some kind of like fan fiction? It's almost like going to be like, hey, dude, I just want. It's like I just like this character. I want to imagine him having sex with Chun Li or something, and you're making some like eventually people are gonna just start like making fake tournament matches where in their mind they're fan fiction. Oh, this character has to do this, because they make those what the fuck are they called? Don't people make matches, actually fake matches where they just tool assist it? Can you imagine like in tournaments, like people are gonna be like, oh, I imagine this character doing this during the match, so we just gotta program it all, blah. It's like, dude, you're getting to such a level that you're taking the skill out of everything, dude, and you're making it kind of like fake, I think, right? And on a sense, though, I would actually say, would you say though that the fact that this even has to be argued about, I think, is ridiculous. But Are we getting to a point now that that means that video games actually totally are a legit sport? Because I mean, if we think about other sports, someone's always trying to get the advantage, right? And I'm not saying that people never cheated in video games before, because certainly they do through bracket manipulation or you know, people have thrown at. I think back in the day, people used to talk about using Adderall or something like that. I'm sure people, whatever they've fucking done to give themselves an advantage. But I'm talking about like if you think about sports, like there's this idea that how many people are really not using like steroids in sports, right? So does this are like video games becoming a real sport because people are just using every advantage they can, trying to tinker with any kind of rule they can, take away any kind of skill they can. And again, I'm not saying that there probably isn't some skill to using some of these things. Like, right, if you're using a controller, you're using the analog stick while you do it. Again, that's fucking cheating, dude. But I'm sure you probably gotta like teach your finger to do it. I mean, whatever. But again, it just seems like such a stupid thing to even like be arguing about. Like it. But again, it just shows you what the video game community is, and like the fact that this stuff gets argued about, and not that people don't complain about the way the games are now. I mean, certainly I have complained about it, but can we just focus on the bunk quality of like how bunk and like stupid some of these games are nowadays gameplay wise? But now we have to like there's actually people arguing like, hey, I think I should be able to cheat in this video game that is already bunk as fuck in the first place, right? It's just kind of like, I don't know, like when is enough enough? Like, dude, are you just gonna? It's like you're playing a tool assisted tournament now, dude. Like, I mean, your tool is not fair to my tool. Like this sports player has a bigger drug stack than me, or something like that, dude. He has better drug. The Olympics, you know what I mean? Almost everyone's using Olympics, but what was it? They caught Russia or some bullshit. 'Cause they were using good steroids as someone else, dude. It's like almost everyone's fucking cheating. It's like, oh man, his controller does this, but I don't have as many buttons on my controller to button map. You know what I mean? So maybe I need to get like my stack up, dude. I need to like fucking get a better controller stack here, dude. Hopefully you get what I'm getting at. Again, I understand video games are different, or Street Fighter kind of games are different because there is a inevitably competitive nature between these games. But again, is this like not you're getting to the point of tool assisted fucking tournaments now, dude, and it's fucking weird to me. But in general, I don't play these new games because I don't really care about them anyway. But it is what it is, right? So that's my opinion on that. You know, and